Well, today is parts day. Just looking for parts for the 20. You know, this stuff needs to be picked apart anyway, you know. And looky there. Man, I forgot all about that. Big 80s, 25 horse. Damn, how can I forget about that? But all of this stuff needs to be picked apart. All right, shut up. Turn this thing off. So it's parts day, baby. I'm gonna strip everything off of these that's worth a damn. And then the rest is going to the metal guy. Holy moly macaroni. Trying to clean out the shed again. So this carb, this 20 horse carb, man, turned out to be a mess. And I've been soaking and squirting and spraying and cleaning and trying to get it back to somewhat. And then you can see here the plug. They had taken that out and banged it back in. I never take those out unless it's an absolute friggin' emergency. I learned my lesson a long time ago with those damn things. You end up JB welling them back in. I think I mentioned that before, somewhere. And this thing was so clogged up, and I had such a hard time getting the high-speed jet cleaned out. And I put a screwdriver in there, and somebody already twisted it. And every time I do my flashlight test and look down in there, and you see like a full moon shining through, man, it just wasn't looking right. Where's my flashlight? Let's see if I can get a shot of it. But it just keeps looking weird, like not what I'm used to seeing. You know, do it this way. So you can see the brass in there is a little screwed up, but you just can't see. Maybe this flashlight's too bright. You just can't see the full moon in the background like I've done before. It just looks screwed up. Look at it. It's not perfectly round anymore. Man, it makes me mad. And it looks better that way for some reason. I don't know. No, you know, we can't, if those things don't come out with just the slightest bit of pressure, don't try to take them out. It just turns into a friggin' mess. Anyway, I also found, while I was digging around, found a rubber seal, gasket, whatever you want to call it. It's a little bit short, but I might be able to stretch it out a little bit. Alright, signing off. So I'm just out here doing some last minute stuff that needs to get done. And I thought you might be interested. Anyway, pulling the handle off so I can grease everything up. And, of course, one frickin' little nut, can't get it off. Wrestling with that. And then this fell out up here, and I think it's a bushing that goes behind that gear. And the other reason I'm taking this off is because I'm going to replace the little door right there and put this door in with one of these. Then I got this to put on. The seal came in, the fuel pump came in. Oh, I got the kill switch pulled apart. It's just corrosion, crappy contacts. Clean those off. And all the little stuff. And I'm still trying to find this piece with the matching green paint. So I finally got that damn little nut and screw out. See how that has that on there, holds that in or back, and this one broke off, so I think I'll just swap this whole thing out with this one because it's in great shape too. It's swapped. The worst part about it was that little pin, getting that pin in and out, or out and back in. In was easy, out. Alright, so you see this? It didn't want to fit. a little tight, and I think what happened was this is bent inward because whatever happened to this thing, falling off the boat, whatever happened, all on this side, I think this got bent in. So I tapped it a couple times and it fits a little better. I'm going to tap it again. You know, you can kind of see it's bent inwards. Should be fine if I don't break it. Alright, my little door is in. And here's something else I noticed. You pull the handle up, it hits the pan. This thing is all out of whack. Easy fix. Just undo these, plus two, I'll show you. Get this over with. See how the spring is rubbing? Just loosen these puppies up, pull this whole thing back, tighten it back up. That's how you do's it. And I'll grease this up and put the handle back on, and that'll be done. But before I do that, I'm going to put a ring on her finger. Yeah, baby. Alright, get some grease. So look how far they had the screw, whatever you want to call it, plus the little tip is missing. So it was actually like that far. Man, it's crazy. I'm like, why can't I get my throttle handle down? I just turned it too, so it's still kind of working. It's bent. Oh boy, it's bent. See if I can straighten that out. Well, I've got it to straighten out, but I knocked off some of the nylon, but it works. That's where it should be. Way down there like that. I mean, crank it up like that if you're trolling, but for starting and everything. See, now I'm down here on stop. Alright. Then I'm not going to hook all this up yet until I want to get the piece, the green one, this green one. It's got to be in there somewhere. And also, too, I wanted to replace, see all the grooves wore in this thing? I must have been running it without a rubber piece on there or something. I'm pretty sure I got another one of these. Same. Alright, I think I've had enough. This piece, I've been in search for it. I thought I had one that came with the $40 Craigslist special. And I've been tearing everything apart, organizing, and trying to find this matching paint color piece. So I said, wait a minute. Thinking back, sure enough, I went and double checked the video, and I had gotten a starter and a starter bracket with the motor. The Solec manual came with the motor. There was some other stuff there too, all for $40. Anyway, that's why I don't have the piece. So this one will be fine. I'll paint it. When I have a situation like this, I'll paint both of them black. You know, kind of jazz it up a little bit. Unless I can find a starter bracket for it. Put electric start on it. I do have the real old school starter bracket, but I'm not using that. Man, they're $400 on marineengine.com. You might find one on eBay for $250-ish. And then if I did that, I'd really have to jack up the price on that thing. Alright, I got the gear case crap up there soaking. Let me get this put on real quick. Put a little greasy on here. Little dab will do you. Then this wiring going through, it's a little stiff. It's got all that tape on it and everything. Oh, that's working. Now I need to run back to the shed and get a cam for this thing. I'm going to replace this. It's got all those grooves wore in it. There's a groove in the roller. Oh boy, there it is. Exact same part number, 314842. And look at it, man. This one is smooth. And it doesn't even have a groove worn in at high speed like that one does. I also grabbed this piece. Got a nicer roller on it. It's not. Alright, I still got to get a carb thing going on here too. Take care of all this small stuff. It gets time consuming. Do that kill switch real quick. Oh yeah, baby. You can use sandpaper, Dremel tool. Yeah. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, so I'm going to fix this thing so it stops rubbing. See how it's catching on the spring? So like I said, you just loosen these nuts on the rubber mounts. And then you got to pull this whole thing back. And it's not easy because right up in the top in the front here is the front mount. You know, it looks similar to this, but it's about that long. So what I usually do is get the spring off. Don't break my fingers. Come on, baby. There we go. Loosen the nuts. Now you see how this is all the way, this whole thing is pushed forward. We're going to back her up a little bit. Just loosen her up, both sides. Then, you got to get something in here and wedge it. You can do it on this side. And just tap it in until this thing comes back as far as it's going to go. Then when you tighten them back up, make sure it's even. And don't go too tight, you can break these right off. It's just pot metal. Little tap there. And tighten them up. Snuggly woogly. Alright, see what we got. Knock the wood out. Easy peasy. Boom. Perfecto. That's it. Well, it looks a little bit better in there. So anyway, make sure your weep holes are flowing. You don't want to be holding water in these things. But what I do is start with a nice sharp edge on a chisel, and I start knocking it in towards the middle, like imploding it. And you just keep going around. You know, I'm trying to pull it in away from the edges. I'm out of the view here. I don't need that much zoom, do I? Can't get around this damn thing. Here she comes. Thank you. Man, there's a lot of goop in there. But you see what I'm saying? This one compared to this one. Big difference. Look at the difference. This would I could have got this out with a toothpick. You gotta be careful of that damn bearing right there. Yeah, I'd have to say that's one of the toughest ones I've ever had. That puppy was huge. There's 8 ounces in here. I'm going to put the seal in. I'm going to leave that oil in there and leave it in for, you know, run it around a little bit in the tank whenever we get this thing fired up. Then let it drain it out, put new stuff in. Plus, and there's enough in there to, you know, do its job. So here's one of them cheapo Chinese pumps from eBay. Dirt cheap. I've always had good luck with them. Yeah. No. Gotta move this. Man, this is supposed to sit like that. Why does this happen to me? If this thing isn't oriented right, son of a gun, man. But if these aren't oriented right, it's not going to work. You gotta tear it apart and put it together right. Dang, Chinese pump. See, it's opposite. I've done them many times. It never fails, man. All these little things, just setback. So it's not going to work that way. The fuel lines are all jacked up down there, and you know, it's just not going to work that way. You see how this one is oriented? See where this big hump is here on this one, the original one, and see where it is on this one? It should be the same, like that, in order for this to work properly. Well, that part's right, but this part's wrong. See, they're both pointing down, and the holes are at the bottom, this side up. So I'm gonna have to pull this one apart, lay it out piece by piece, check the configuration, pull this one apart, and redo it to the way this is configured. And it's a pain in the butt, it takes a while. Now I'm about out of steam. Big mess to clean up here. Haven't eaten all day. I think it's just better if I clean up my mess and call it a day. But we getting there. Man, I tell you, all this little stuff, man, adds up.
Don't forget to subscribe.